It's 6 o'clock. I'd like to call today's board meeting to order. Ms. Laura, can you do roll call, please?
Absolutely. Member Ciociola?
Here.
Member Kaur?
Here.
Member Lamb?
Here.
Member Roscoe?
Here.
Member Pretty?
I'm here.
Member Quilty?
Here.
President Tommy?
Here.
Everyone's present.
Thank you. Are there any public comments on closed session?
There are not.
All right, thank you. We're going to go to recess to closed session.
Get harder.
Harder?
There you go.
Let's get it. I'll do it one more time. I'd like to go ahead and recall back to open session. Can we go ahead and stand for pledge of allegiance, please? Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Are there any requests for agenda reorganization? Nope. Okay, there's nothing to report out on closed session, so we'll go ahead and get started with our student reports.
Be afraid.
Good evening, board members and audience. As we count down to the weeks of the end of the semester, Honkers have been working really hard on final projects and AP exams. For the past week, Honkers have been completing their hard and long-awaited AP exams. Last week, we hosted an indoor soccer game at lunch for some friendly fun class competition. Tomorrow, we're hosting a college decision day rally for National College Decision Day. We're celebrating seniors for all their hard work from attending Yuba College or Stanford. We're very proud of them. Spring sports have just wrapped up, and our track team just came back from D2 championships. Senior Angelique Davis threw a 38.8 shot put throw at the championships and got first place. We're super proud of her. The 4x1 relay team placed fourth, the 4x400 girls placed third, and Junior Jewel Perry ran a 57.75 400 meter placing third. We're super proud of our girls, they're doing amazing. On the 30th, all the seniors are gathering for Senior Sunset to make amazing memories with our friends and peers one last time. And I want to bring it to your attention that graduates have requested that Mr. Olson would join the photo with you guys after you get the diploma and stuff. So if that could be applicable, please let me know. It'd be very appreciated. Thank you all, and hope you have a good night.
Thank you. All right, student recognition?
Yeah, so I see a few of our music teachers out kind of in the back. I know, Mr. Taylor, you're kind of taking the lead, but I'd like to invite our music teachers up to the front to be recognized, but also to recognize some of our talented students tonight. So Tim, I see you, and
hello everybody, so we brought a lot of really talented musicians here. We have a performance for you and a short, very, very short speech from one of our students. A lot of our music teachers just went to festival and we have a lot of awards to share. We brought one today from Terra Buena Berry Combo School, but we pretty much each won one. View Vista got second place. Also in marching, we have YCHS got first place twice as a drum major, which was astonishing this year. River Valley, we got second, first, and third in marching performance, and View Vista got second as middle school marching performance and second in festival, which was great. And if you could just stand if you made it into an honor band this year. So all of these people all made it into high school honor band right here, and then the three over on this side all made it into the 6th through 9th grade middle school honor band with as far as I'm aware, Ethan Pomales over there, he's the first 8th grader to actually make it into a middle school honor band while in middle school. Micah and Jaya on their way to come over here. On their way over, Jordan, right here, he's our piano player, horn player, trombone player, percussion extraordinaire, everything. Yeah, Jordan, this is his second year making it into All Northern Honor Band, which is very prestigious. It's the second most prestigious honor band in the area. And he's also currently writing a percussion show for us for next semester, which is something that would be challenging for a college student to write. This is Michael Williams, who is going to give a short speech. He already wrote a percussion show for us this year. He's also written a piece for marching band and for concert band. He both have made it as soloists to Yuba College Band, played a solo on piano and for my band. And then Micah made it into the Yuba Sutter Symphony as a soloist. And he made it into NorCal Honor Band, All State Honor Band, and All Northern Honor Band, which are all of the honor bands possible in this area, and he was accepted to all of them. He probably doesn't want me to tell you guys this, because he's already nervous enough, but he's also auditioning for a world-renowned music conservatory next week called Juilliard.
Nice.
Yeah, and so he already passed through the first round of auditions, and he's got his second auditions lined up already. And Owen Wilson over there, YC student, he's looking behind him trying to dodge the look, but Sargent. Yeah, but
Owen Sargent.
Sargent. He's not mine. I tried. Owen Sargent. He also made it into NorCal Honor Band. So.
I'll add to that too. Owen's been accepted to Humboldt State next year, and he's attending a summer chamber music workshop at Humboldt.
And okay, so now I know that made it worse, but you have 20 to 30 seconds to share with the board.
All right. I want to say thank you for granting us this opportunity to get awards from you guys, as well as for my peers. I know that all of us have been working hard for this entire school year, working towards this. It's kind of like a reward for all the hard work we've been putting in. I personally, and I know all these people have put in a lot of time and a lot of work into getting better at their instruments. So I want to thank you guys.
All right, to cap it off, Jaya, our closing act. Did you want to move?
I would just like to say to the board and also to the administration, thank you for opening your wallets and letting us have the opportunity to participate in these festivals and pay the entry fees. You paid for the bus for us to go to this festival last weekend. And if I remember correctly, the list of trophies that our kids earned was 11 trophies, a couple of firsts, several seconds, and a couple of thirds. I'm the teacher at, my name is Matt Breithaupt, by the way, and I'm the teacher at Terrabuena and Barry schools. And I've combined my two school bands together. And as we were practicing before this event last week, I was thinking to myself, you guys are sounding pretty good. And I was kind of optimistic that we might do really well. I didn't want to put any expectations unduly on them or predict that we would get a trophy, but we earned this third place trophy back here on the table because of the kids' hard work. And that's one of the things that is important to be able to do is participate in these kinds of festivals, because and it justifies the expense by reaching 4 really important educational objectives. One of them is that the kids reach inside themselves for the best performance that they can possibly muster. Another one is that we can expose ourselves to national level judging. We can see how we compare against a hypothetical standard of perfection, playing music. We also get to compare ourselves to the programs at other schools. And the most important part of being able to participate in festivals like this is it's just darn plain fun.
That's right.
It's fun. The kids get a chance to interact with each other, develop a camaraderie and a relationship with each other that is not possible in any other way. And in school, we're really proud to be able to provide that for these kids. And I'll let you guys go ahead and sit down now. I asked our supervisor, Mr. Corey Kirsting, who is having his spring concert tonight at Yuba City High School, if I could have one of my successful students actually perform their solo. So Jay actually accepted the opportunity, and we're going to use our smart music accompaniment system to play the background piano part for her solo, which I will let her introduce herself. Stand right there.
Is that a good spot for you?
You're gonna need the music. Play in front of them.
Through the wonders of technology, we can have someone play the piano right here for us. Let me just check, do a sound check here. Okay, is that about right volume?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Jayla Ori and I'm in the 6th grade and I go to Berry School. Today I'm going to play Minuetto composed by Ludwig van Beethoven.
So this was our solo festival that we traveled to at American River College in Sacramento. I took six students with me, and they all earned a superior or an excellent award, and that was one of the superiors.
We have certificates. Mike, if you want to, I don't know if all the students are here, if you want to recognize each one.
Mike knows who's here.
I'll give these to him. You can present these to the students over here.
You want to do it live?
That'd be
Right
nice.
here.
They're
Okay.
here, yeah.
Okay, great. All right, you guys ready to get up? Alright, so first but not least, this is Michael Williams.
Laura, have them all stay with the group.
Oh yeah, for a group picture. Yeah,
Yeah, if you're just all seeing for the one here.
That's the line.
sure.
They can stand in front of us here.
Okay.
Micah, you can come stand over here.
Yeah.
So the families can take pictures too. You guys can
Yeah.
That's more
Jordan
important.
Hudson Jasper. Simmer Joe Hall. Oh, it's called You Up For. This is for CMA Middle School Honor Band. For CMA Middle School Honor Band, Kerman Joe Bain. For CMEA Selects Honor Band, Jacqueline Villarreal. He's sick right now, but for CMEA Selects Honor Band, David Vunawai. For CMEA Selects Honor Band, Victoria Romo-Pio. For CA Selects Honor Band, Michael Spicer.
Keep you on your toes.
Yeah. Right, I do the same thing, so this is just payback. And for CMEA Selects Honor Band, Gabriel Thornton. Yep. Oh.
We have YCUSD segments.
Yeah. Okay, for CMA Middle School Honor Band, Ethan Pomalis. Oh, can I have the green? No, there we go.
Give it and take it away.
And this one's yours. Ella? It's yours.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you can read this one. You can go. Yeah. They're right there. Okay.
For superior rating at the California Music Educators Solo Festival, Ella Buckland. For an excellent rating at California Music Educators Solo Festival, Ryan Cuellar. Superior rating at CMA Solo Festival, Aiden Phillips.
This is for, excuse me, Owen Sargent, CMEA North Section High School Honor Band and NCB CDA Honor Band. I can do this. Nick Samra for CMA North Section. And one more, Gabriel Avila for CMEA North Section. This is from, this is for the orchestra at YCHS Alley Stock Mall, who will be in her concert tonight, I believe. Soloist with the Yuba Sutter Symphony Orchestra. Alejandro Villalobos. This is something we have not done before. It's called an L pattern for drum majors, and he absolutely excelled at this beyond anything we have seen. niece Amelia Martin, who's playing the orchestra concert, who also soloed with the Yuba Symphony. And there's a few more. Is that you?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes. For a superior rating at the California Music Educators Solo Festival, Jason Cardenas. And Braylee Trotty. She's actually been sick the last 2 days, so she will take this back and give it to her at school. And of course, as you heard, Jaya Oria, Thank you to the school board for this recognition.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, little ones in front. Okay. All right, you five, Jacqueline, Simrit. All right, you guys, and Vicky. No, you're a big one now. You're too tall. All right, now you guys go in. Go in this way. Here, you can give them space. Michael, you're a little one. Sorry. All right, we're close enough now.
He's like, if I grow the hair a little bit.
Okay, you guys go this way to give this little guy some space in, and you back up, sir. Go that way. You got it. Keep going. Keep going. You keep going. All right, girls, this way, that direction. All right, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Fire pose. I know, right? That's so cool.
Smile with your eyes. You don't look crazy.
Sorry, you must have fun.
Smile with your eyes.
Thank you all very much. It's great.
Never been that way.
The parents
You're doing great.
Y'all look amazing. Thank you, everybody. Congratulations. Great job. Stay with it. Stay with it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So I would like to thank our music instructors. They do a lot. They do a lot of traveling, and you can see the results of what the accomplishments of our students. Thank you to our music instructors as well.
Yes, thank you very much.
Good evening, you guys.
Thank you.
Making good music.
Good luck, Micah. If you haven't left already.
No, I wanted to post it on how. That's awesome.
I just know that she's
I know, right?
It's like
We're gonna look at policy.
I'll tell you what.
The best part.
Look at nothing at this place.
There's contracts. I mean, I don't want to give anything away.
Oh, you killed me.
You laughing at me?
Yes, you killed me.
I don't have any new jokes. They're all the same.
I just love it. You got a little spicy.
Maybe we'll sing later. I don't know. Perfect. You lead us off.
Oh, I can't say.
Everybody.
I will go ahead and move on.
No? Yes? No? Maybe so? Yes? Perfect. Okay. We're gonna move on to, school counselor highlights for 23-24.
Okay. Are you Mr. Boyd?
Wait, we missed
Oh,
that
just kidding. Sorry.
Keep the party going.
My apologies. Sorry, Jen.
That's all right.
Employee recognition.
Human Resources is excited to welcome Robert Pope to introduce the employee recognition for the month of April, sorry. And Mr. Pope.
Good evening, board, trustees, staff, and audience. More fun, that was certainly great with the students and their teachers. We're going to continue celebrating excellence tonight by presenting staff who've been recognized at Bridge Street School and Berry School. These staff promote our example of excellence and help us achieve our mission of preparing the foundation for each student to build tomorrow's world. And with that, we'll start with Bridge Street School. Principal Melissa McIntyre will present, and after that will be Principal Ben Moss.
I always start by thanking you guys for doing this event because it's the people that make Bridge Street work so effectively, and we are so excited to be able to recognize Luis. It was a clear choice by the staff. I always send it out to staff and get staff input, and Luis came flying in easily, and it was not a surprise. Our head custodian unfortunately left at the beginning of the year. And losing a head custodian is tough. They are responsible for many pieces of how that school functions. And we had 2 head custodians step in as subs, and Luis was one of them. And he just completely shined. It's not just about the custodial piece, but it's the management of the entire school systems, the grounds, the calls that you get, the multitasking, the navigating staff to be where they need to be to keep the school functioning well. And he does it with a smile on his face all the time. I don't even know how he's going to clean up vomit, but he's smiling, but he does. It's always a hello, it's a good morning, you ladies have a great afternoon, I'll see you tomorrow. Just this jovial, upbeat personality that you don't always find. And it is just amazing to have that permeating around the entire school campus. And kids are a focus for him, which I appreciated and don't always get to see because custodians get wrapped up in their world, which is totally anticipated. But Luis would always step in with kids, helping them out, encouraging them, taking him multiple kids alongside of him to just encourage them, mentor them, work with them, mostly our struggling kids. And so he has just been an absolute blessing to Bridge Street School over this year. And I have made it super clear to Mark and Jorge that this guy absolutely needs to be a head custodian. They tried taking him once this year. I did put my foot down at that point, but but now I said definitely he needs to be in a position where he's head custodian full time. So I'm really honored to be able to recognize Luis. He is incredibly deserving, and I really can't wait to watch his career in our district because he's going to do great things.
Very good.
Picture of the 2 of you. Okay. Thank you.
Stick her up.
Let's take this off.
Thank you.
Congratulations, good job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next will be Principal Ben Moss from Berry School.
Good evening, board. Thank you for this opportunity to recognize our wonderful employees. Going to be recognizing 3 individuals from Berry tonight. These 3 individuals are pillars of our school. Not only do they do their jobs well and excel as educators, they perform selfless acts of service for our students and for our community. The first individual I want to recognize is Mr. Ben Leobrotten. He is our upper grade physical education teacher. He has transformed our school from the rallies and dances that we have to our ASB leadership team and their shining example to students, their acts of service to our classes and our teachers there. He has also coordinated the Have a Heart effort at our school, which has garnered 12 of 14 Have a Heart trophies and usually brings in over a third of the support to the YCEF from the Have a Heart run, just from his efforts and his team. So this evening he is at YCHS supporting his son who's performing in the orchestra this evening, and I wish him very well, but I could not have a school that shines and performs as well as it does without his leadership and his help. So I would like to thank him and honor him at this time. My next teacher is also from our upper grade. She teaches our English and reading support. She goes out of her way to make sure students have their needs fulfilled as far as if a student is having difficulty with homework, needing an emotional shoulder to talk to. She's part counselor, part mom. In fact, she has her two wonderful sons here with her tonight, as well as her mom. And we are so proud of her. She is our CJSF lead. She has been a grade level lead for our 7th and 8th grade group. She has also coordinated the canned food drive that each year has grown and grown to the point that this year she was recognized by the Mother Hubbard's Cupboard, having raised enough food to feed the number, I think it was 600 families, the number of students that we have at our school. So this is through her effort, helping to inspire and coordinate our students there. She also assists with the selection and guidance of our students that receive our governmental awards from our candidates in the area, as well as the Kiwanis Hope of America Award. So without further ado, I'd like to recognize Miss Christina Jones.
And I want to let you guys know that Barry is truly a family, and I feel very lucky to be a part of it.
The humbleness. And while we're posing, I'm going to let Miss Chloris know that this was one of the wonderful people that we recruited from a Chico fair.
It's true. And that's been let's get on the show.
This last individual that I would like to recognize has been a big part of my life as I entered education. I started off at juvenile hall and then went from teaching at-risk students to a small elementary school called Cedar Lane over in Marysville. This individual was there teaching kindergarten, and they wanted to see this new guy that they hired on campus, and she came and kind of supported me in my first efforts teaching gen ed. And after I became principal at Berry, I had the opportunity to hire her teaching in the same capacity at the kindergarten level at our school, and it's such a treasure to have her on board. She has been the grade level lead. She has coordinated the kinder roundup. introducing our first time students to the classroom. Many of them with bright shining faces, others with tremendous tears and trepidation of leaving their parents. And through her reassurance and love, have brought them on board and made them stellar students. She has been our ELD coordinator. She has been our COGAT proctor. She most importantly leads our Sunshine group at our school, helping out those when tremendous tragedy is struck, as well as recognizing those precious, wonderful moments of births and engagements and whatnot. And her lead in our Sunshine group has just been so supportive of our staff and families here at Berry. And I would like to recognize her now, Ms. Carrie Lewis.
Thank you all very much. This is a wonderful honor. Must tell you, it was fun teasing Ben all these years back in 5th grade, because 5th grade teachers don't do borders and cute little anything. And as a kindergarten teacher, I walked in his room and went, ugh. So, zhuzhed it up a little bit and made it nice and cute. And the kids came in and were like, what happened? So that's always been our running joke. I'll leave him borders in his room on the first day of school and make sure everything looks good. But yeah, big difference between 5th grade and kindergarten. Good times, good times. Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, board. Thank you, Kathy.
Okay, now you can go to school council highlights.
Thank you. Gosh, what a fun board meeting to come to, right?
Yeah, where's your clarinet?
I know, the flute. I played the flute.
All right.
I was just telling Madeline, gosh, I should have kept on with my musical pursuits because they're all so impressive. It's amazing. I can still read music, so I thank my band days for that. So I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about our comprehensive school counseling program. So I just wanted to highlight a little bit for you. I'm going to intro, and then I'll ask the counselors who were able to come tonight to come up with me. But we have 32 district school counselors across the district. We've balanced those across the district so that they have decent recommended caseload sizes. But we just have this thriving program that I think we hear about how vital and how important it is, but maybe you don't know exactly what they do and exactly what they've been working on. Our goal is, do we have that, just that slide? This is the only slide I have for you. Everything else you have in your board packet that came from the sites. But I just wanted to highlight for you that the school counselors work in these three domains on the bottom. So the 3 domains on the bottom are what they're expected to do. So it's that SEL counseling, that college and career counseling. Trying to look and see where it shows on the bottom for you.
Academic.
And the academics. Thank you. That's kind of the obvious one, right? Don't forget about that. But they operate in those 3 domains. And then as we work our way up, our tier 1 is all students, right? It's universally. So that's what you're going to hear about when you hear about counseling lessons and you hear about rallies and activities and those sorts of planned activities that we have that all students are engaged in. Really working hard to make sure these aren't site counseling programs, but it's a district program that 2nd graders across the district, 7th graders across the district, they're getting these components of counseling. You move up the tiers, our school counselors are working also in that tier 2 mode. That's data-driven, targeted instruction for some of our students who need additional supports, right? So you're used to hearing about interventions for academics, but we do the same thing in school counseling, interventions for behavior. So they're working with small group, they're working on one-on-one for those students that need a little bit more than what everybody else is getting. So really you're gonna see our school counseling program operating in that tier 1, tier 2 area.
Of course, tier 3 are those unplanned events, right? Those emergencies, those I need this on the fly. It wasn't planned for. Perhaps it's a risk assessment, perhaps it's a tragic incident that takes place, but those intensive services that a few command our attention. And sometimes tier 3 we get stuck in there because they're the bombs, right? But they're not sitting around waiting for that to happen because they're working in that tier 1 and tier 2. So I just kind of wanted you to understand a little bit about that multi-tiered, multi-dimensional disciplinary system that they're working in. So, counselors, come up and join me. Out of our 32, we had a few that said, oh, I'd love to come and say a little bit more about what my school site is doing. So if you refer to your board packet, it's in your board packet. They'll introduce themselves and what site they're currently working at, so you can kind of maybe flip to their presentation and they'll refer to that. But I asked them to just either expand a little bit on what they shared on their one-pager or highlight something that they weren't able to fit on their one-pager. Because I tasked them with this, okay, let's show your site, your administration team, our board, our community, exactly what it is you're doing and quantify that. So that's what they were tasked to do, and I hope that you are impressed as I am with the work that they've accomplished for our students. Madeline, you want to start? She asked me to start first, so
I can get it over with. So I had to type all this up, so let me just pull that really fast. I'm super nervous. I'm used to talking in front of rooms full of kids, but not peers, and definitely not the board. So a little bit nervous. So what was that?
So we're kids at heart.
We're all kids.
Right.
Can I just make a quick request? When you introduce yourself, just give us a pause so we can scroll.
Oh, so sorry. I'm Madeline Bramer. I'm the school counselor at Lindcrest Elementary, and my little page looks like this. If you want to search for it, do you have a digital copy?
they have them all in there.
So we have to go through 17 of them.
Okay.
Just
It has little flowers on it. Look for them.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Are we good?
Yeah.
You guys got it? Okay. No, my phone went down again. Okay, there we go. But before I end, and we're in the middle of Mental Health Awareness Week, so just for everyone's sake and for me to calm down, if you all want to take a really deep breath together, slow breath, that will really help. Much better. Okay. Okay, members of the board, thank you for the opportunity for us to humble brag and share the positive impact and success of our comprehensive school counseling program. I wanted to highlight Tier 1 interventions where it shows 442 on my page, because in 3 weeks we'll hit that number, which are the sessions inside of classrooms. Those are individual counseling sessions, or in the classroom, I'm sorry. Tier 1 interventions are a guaranteed service for all students, and they promote social emotional learning. The main focus of Tier 1 are really the classroom lessons, which I provide to all classrooms at Lindcrest, TK through 5th. There are 26 classrooms. But unless you sat in on one of the lessons or you have a student who attends YCUSD, you might be wondering what the lessons are all about. Well, 30 minutes is set aside for each class, focusing on a range of social emotional topics, such as, that's on the right hand of your page, feelings, identification, and regulation, diversity and inclusion, healthy relationships, respect and responsibility, resilient skills, conflict resolution, to name a few. I may read a book, show a short video, provide worksheets, or lead the class through a hands-on activity, or some combination of these that elicits engagement through conversation and reflection. We also try to encourage teachers, cross your fingers, to stick around, because this can help allow for topic reinforcement in the classroom for the rest of the week. Sometimes I even try to send out parent communications regarding upcoming lessons to hopefully reinforce at home as well. Tier 2 programs target students who require additional support beyond the umbrella of Tier 1, and I'm extremely proud of the implementation of Tier 2 supports through small group counseling at Lindcrest. But I can't take all the credit because I get to work alongside our amazing social worker, Evangelina Thomas, who also works out of the wellness room with me. Evangelina and I have quite the flow going because not only do we run our own small groups, but we also co-facilitate several together. Each trimester, we collectively run about 8 small groups that meet weekly for about 6 to 8 weeks total, all curriculum-based. Some of these groups include divorce support, grief support, emotional regulation, and girl power, to name a few. In addition to our Tier 1, 2, and 3, I also head our student leadership team and am a member of the PBIS team, both of which aim to promote positive behavior and help establish welcoming, supportive school climate. I am extremely proud to work with a skilled counseling team and incredibly collaborative school staff that make all these interventions and supports possible. Because when we work together toward a common goal, our kids win. Thank you for your support as we continue to foster the overall well-being of our student population. Thank you.
Thank you.
See, now she wants to stay up here. You'll notice too that she has referenced the same as I did, that comprehensive school counseling program, and I just want to highlight that because perhaps some of us that it's been a while since we've been in school, we may have been used to a guidance counselor, somebody that did our schedules for us, basically told us if we were on track to graduate or not, and that's essentially what people thought of as their guidance counselors back in the day. Gone are those days. So now we have comprehensive school counselors who have a systematic, data-driven, planned, proactive, it's part of the school day, it's part of the instruction, and it's building on the school culture and the mission and vision that the board sets forth for us. So when you hear these, I just want you to keep that in mind. They're like, wow, these are not the counselors that's just sitting in the office waiting for somebody to need a schedule change, right? These counselors are doing far more than that, and I think that's what you're going to be really impressed with. We'll stick with K-5. Alicia?
By the way, mine's the first one, so it's easy. And it's got the pretty colors, just like the
Yes, that's the first one. Okay.
So welcome. Hello. I'm Alicia. I'm the school counselor at April Lane Elementary. I have to say, I've done this report before in the past years, and I've come to the conclusion that we needed more services in our Tier 1. Not from 30 minutes, but we moved it up to 45 minutes, which I can tell you gives us more time to allow for activities as well as the lesson to be done and completed. The teachers are then allowed to use that information throughout the school year. Admin references them when they're being talked to or explained or re-explained the rules and expectations. So that's the biggest thing. By the end of the school year, we'll have 522 lessons at 45 minutes with fidelity. So every week I meet with each class. Thank you, Ray, for covering me when I was out. So it did actually work out. Because we have been able to meet that need in Tier 1, our Tier 2 lessons or groups activities has reduced by 56.4%. So I don't have to pull students out nearly as much. And those referrals come from PBIS discipline, the past data that is given to them twice a year, and then parent or teacher referrals. So if there is a student who needs some extra support, or it's like something came up in the family home that requires them to get some additional support, I'm available for them. Because of that wonderful number and Tier 2 also dropping down, you guys can guess it. Tier 1 also decreased.
Tier 3.
Tier 3, thank you. So reverse. So our Tier 3 decreased 34.4% for one-on-one and 17.9% with drop-ins. Like Jen mentioned, there's those inevitable crises, and keep in mind, April Lane also has the ES program, so inevitably I'll get called in to deal with the situation. So those numbers might go up. On to the better and funner news. Our attendance has increased by 2%. Students are feeling safer, prouder to come to school, able to communicate and talk about their problems. They can tell the difference between being rude, what's the other one? Mean and bullying. So there is a clear defined difference, and that is discussed and taught at the beginning of the school year. So if there is truly a bullying issue, they'll talk about that. Otherwise, they know the skills thanks to Kelso's Choices, another program that we all share. They can solve their own problem if it's mean or rude, okay? And then the other wonderful piece of information is that our total incidents from last year was 815, so that was discipline issues for the year. This year, at the time of the report was created, it went down to 521 with a plus sign saying it's increasing because the school year is not over. But as you can tell, if we really target tier 1, you get a lot of positives in the right direction. Our attendance goes up, our discipline goes down. I wish I could say there's more in academics, but in elementary school, I can't compute that because Aries does not like it with the comments. So if you guys want to take care of that, I would greatly appreciate it and I can look into that. But other than that, questions, comments, concerns? Beautiful, thank you for your time.
I bet you'd like them to do a little rude, mean, bullying lesson for adults as well, right? Just to kind of clarify what bullying is and isn't. It's a great lesson. Cece?
Hello, my name is Cece Cobb. I'm a school counselor at Lincoln Elementary. And at Lincoln we have 497 students. Oh, did you want to look at that?
It's number 4.
Oh, thank you. We have 497 students. And because of our facility, I have the ability, because we're a little bit, we have a few more rooms at our school, I have my own classroom, which affords me the opportunity for every single student in our school to actually come through my classroom 1 time per week. So far, as of today, up to 569 lessons, shooting for 600 by the end of the school year. So having worked at many years at high school, many years at elementary, now many years at middle school, and now at elementary, one of the things I'm always amazed is our ability for the littles to learn and understand concepts. So I thought I'd share just some fun facts that I listed there also. So our kindergarten students can actually define but also explain the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, and understanding that they want a growth mindset, and with that it's okay to make mistakes. They learn about the power of yet. Instead of saying I can't do it yet, they say I can't do it, they say I can't do it yet. In 4th and 5th grade, they're learning the skills and understanding that it's actually a skill to learn happiness, to raise your own happiness, that's a skill, resiliency, and then lower your stress and your anxiety. And my personal favorite is 2nd grade, because our 2nd grade students, and I always tell them to go home and brag about this to their parents, but they can tell you who Aristotle is, 2nd grade, 7 and 8 year olds, they can tell you who Aristotle is, and each week I reinforce and they guess all 8 of Aristotle's virtues. So Aristotle's virtues, all 8 of them are ambition, I'm doing like this, ambition, bravery, confidence, and then generosity, friendship, and honesty, and then patience, and one of their favorites, because it just sounds funny, is wit, which is actually humor. And their ability to learn those and articulate those and hopefully practice those, I think, is something that's pretty amazing for our littles to be able to do. So thank you for your support.
Thank you.
I'm going to graduate you up now to middle school level. We have our Gray Avenue representation here. So I'll have Ray, Liz, and Lupe come up and talk with you. So look for Gray Avenue.
Good evening, everybody. I think we're number 13. You still need to find our sheet.
Bless you.
So, my name is Ray Miller. I'm currently a counseling intern here in the district. So like she said, I'm at Gray Avenue. Lupe Zamora right here, and Liz Braun, we're the counseling team currently. So if you're looking at our sheet, we start at the top. We have our admin team and our support staff listed up there. We also have a rundown of our enrollment data. And we chose to focus in the academic realm of counseling. So we were talking about academic at-risk 8th graders. So we had a total of 240 8th graders enrolled at Gray Avenue at the time. And when we talk about at-risk students, we're talking about students that have a 2.0 GPA or less. And so we identified 78 students at the semester that had that GPA, or that fit that GPA category. So as we start to work with those students at that time of the school year, we have various interventions based on their needs. Interventions do include, but are not limited to, because it's kind of a case-by-case basis. We have periodic academic meetings with them to check in. We have parent-teacher conferences. That also includes contact via mail or phone with their parents. We have SST meetings that we help facilitate and run. We can set up tutoring. We also have what's called SART meetings, student attendance review teams, when we have students that have kind of concerning attendance numbers that are becoming a barrier to their academic performance. And then we have tier 2 meetings where we help identify some of those issues that students are struggling with, where we work in tandem with the admin team to help identify different ways that we can help. And then we also have tier 3 and different academic supports where we set up students with the intervention classes that we do offer. So over the course of the next 6 weeks after the end of the first semester, we started with 78 students in that academic at-risk category. And through those 6 weeks of interventions, we had a 16.6% decrease of our at-risk student population. And we ended up at that point in time having 65 total students. We don't have the current numbers right now, but we're reviewing.
We're currently working on that at this moment, but we're predicting that it's going to be a lot less this year. And we're also continuing with those interventions and adding new interventions as we go to try to get creative and get more students to promote.
And then, so through working with those academic at-risk students, some of the barriers that we identified that were pretty common across the board, there's attendance issues, students dealing with anxiety. We do have some displaced youth that we have our social worker working with as well. There was some transportation concerns and unfortunately some at-risk behavior. Some of the interventions that we do put in place are small groups that work on some of those skills for those at-risk behaviors to kind of help have a positive impact on the students' academic performance as well. And what we've learned throughout meeting with them, all those barriers that we've identified, they do help inform our planning for next year as we kind of prepare to tackle the new school year as we wrap this one up. So that's pretty much it.
Any questions, concerns?
I think hearing numbers is not something people are used to hearing from counselors either. So that's really been one of the lessons we've learned as a team, is that we need to see the impact. We need other people to see the impact. So when you hear about increased attendance, decreased discipline incidents, decreased suspension, those are their goals. That's what they're working for. Everything they're doing preventatively and proactively is with those goals in mind. Our K-8, River Bend, we're gonna have Miss Kelly come up.
River Bend looks like this, kind of fluorescent. I'm not sure what number it is. So I'm just gonna read. My name is Kelly Swanson, and I am missing my glasses and enjoying my third year working predominantly with the TK through 5th graders at River Bend Elementary. To begin with, on our one pager, I want to point out that Jaspreet Ajala, our 6th through 8th grade counselor, wanted to highlight the 2% decrease in suspensions and reductions in chronic absenteeism from last year to this year. I also want to highlight too, it's not on the one pager, but our completed suicide risk assessments are quite a bit down from last year as well. From 22-23 to 23-24. Because data drives many of our interventions, I wanted to show pre and post assessment results from a lesson I taught early in the year. District-wide, you heard about the CALSO choices. We teach the 9 CALSO choices at the beginning of the year to provide elementary students skills to talk out small problems. I wasn't hearing the students use the choices, so I retaught the lesson in March. The post-assessment revealed that 100% of these 3rd graders believed that they could learn and practice CALSO choices, and 91% knew there are in fact 9 choices to use. When the students use these choices, they are using kind communication skills, and we encourage the students to use them before reaching out to a trusted adult. Next, I want to give a shout out to our social worker, Jen Coates, who brought over 20 local professionals to present 7th graders at our first ever career fair in April. This event was inspiring and will be expanded next year. This month, our TK through 5th graders are exploring how personality traits and career interests are related during their bi-monthly classroom counseling lessons. Next Friday, our 3 5th grade classes will visit the 7th and 8th grade career to technical education class to preview that elective and the hands-on skills that students may use later in their careers. On the same day, all our elementary students, hopefully, are invited to come to dress up as a professional in their career of choice. Back in February, I visited 5th graders at Lindcrest and Park Avenue and introduced them to Riverbend's middle school program. And thanks to 5th grade teacher Shauna Kraft and 7th grade leadership teacher Dylan Carson, we'll have a welcome barbecue next Wednesday for our incoming 6th graders and their families. Finally, during Mental Health Awareness Month, we are reminding students of the importance of our mental health and dress-up days this week, and Sutter Yuba Behavioral Health will share resources and projects at each grade level's lunch this Friday. As always, we utilize our wellness room for individual counseling, social and academic skills groups, and visiting organizations or agencies like Ada Terry's Sutter Health Bereavement group. And if you haven't been to the Sutter County Museum to see that exhibit, it is well worth it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I love that she highlighted the wellness centers. Thank you for your support, your financial support, your emotional support for the wellness centers on all our campuses. And I hope when you're visiting, you have a chance to go in there, because that's predominantly the location that we've been using for Tier 2 groups. It just adds a completely different vibe for students, and it really enhances the behavioral interventions of the work that they're doing. So thank you for that. Let's go to high school. Yuba City High, Amy and Bill.
Good afternoon. I'm Amy Olszewski.
I'm Bill Rinaldi.
We are with Yuba City High School. We might be the last slide. I'm not going to go by alphabetical order. For our slide, our main focus was our data-driven decision making on how we can further support our students. Of course, academically, focusing on our graduation rate, A through G and CTE, but as well as social and emotional. You'll see that our school contacts are over 15,000 contacts between our team of 6 counselors. That's both between academic counseling and social emotional. So it could be as easy as checking in on grades, graduation progress, or it could be as serious as a risk assessment. This year we have risen our total counseling lessons in the classroom. It's a little bit harder for high school compared to elementary school. We don't have the time to go in for 45 minutes for all different types of curriculum and different classrooms and everything. But this year we did increase our classroom visits to 85 classrooms across all 4 grade levels, going from graduation requirements, CTE requirements, really focusing on our freshmen on what their future path to post-high school careers and opportunities.
We additionally in those been designing as each grade level continues. For example, in the sophomore year, we do a similar assessment with them of their personality traits and things like that to help guide them to their careers. Juniors, then we do a little more career work, and of course as seniors we're working towards them going into college and or whatever career path they're going to follow. In looking at it though, you will also notice that while we focused strongly this last year on trying to improve our A to G rate, we unfortunately noticed a different trend in the CTE rate, which though it looks like it's a negative for us, it gave us an opportunity to kind of focus on what do we need to do to structure our program to make sure that we have all these bases covered. So implementing things for the coming year. If you look also down on the data-informed decisions, you'll notice that we noticed how our freshmen and sophomores do not come and see us nearly as much as juniors and seniors. Now, admittedly, the seniors certainly have more need for us to work with them as they're working for graduation and for whatever career they're applying to. But by using the Tier 1, it gives us a chance to better connect with those students and give them the opportunity to come in and feel comfortable working with us. So we can work with them more comprehensively throughout the 4 years that we have them with us. The other thing we noticed though is looking at the decline in CTE, we decided to improve the requirements for what they need to do for reduced days and things like that in order to encourage them to be able to either go go down the path for A to G, or the expectation that they should complete a CTE pathway before they finish in graduation. So our program is still growing, but we have definite plans and objectives that we want to achieve and the kind of goals that we want to see for our school.
I'd like to also add, we've been doing a lot of community outreach. So Mia mentioned our decision day tomorrow. We're very excited to celebrate all our seniors, so not only just our seniors going off to continue education at Yuba College or a four-year university, we're also acknowledging military and trade schools as well. So any continuation of education, parent night, senior nights. So we really wanted to strengthen our bond with our Honker family.
Very nice.
Any questions?
So overseeing counseling is probably one of my favorite job responsibilities as the Director of Student Engagement. And I just want to thank the board and the cabinet for their commitment to making sure that we keep our school counseling program strong. Several of them mentioned the overlap and the work with the school social workers. I'll bring them to you next time. But thank you for listening to us. Thank you for those of you who took time out of your evening to be here. Not all 32 were here. You probably didn't want to hear all 32 anyway. But you have those one-pagers, and I hope that you see the difference that they're making with our students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Quick picture. Can you guys line up like the band kids? Oh, a question.
I have a
Shelley, did you have a question?
I did.
Oh, for me or for them?
Well,
For us.
I know a few of these people because I used to work with them. But one of the complaints when I was teaching that I heard from kids was that our counselors seemed to move to different schools an awful lot, and that consistency of having the same counselor, you know, to go to from freshman year through senior year. So is the revolving door counselor, is it kind of slowed down and stopped? Or is it still going on?
We've made very few moves for this year. If you're talking about the high school level, Lupe, Cece, would you guys like to go back to the high school?
No. Well, I mean, every grade level has a niche, and I understand that. And I also know that sometimes counselors moved because they chose to, and sometimes they moved because they were moved. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'm just thinking about the students and having that consistency of having the same counseling staff to go to and seeing those same faces. I'm thrilled to meet the counselors from YC. I didn't ever have a chance to work with them. I haven't been gone very long.
I think we have one new counselor that will have it at Yuba City because one of our counselors from Yuba City is moving out of the state, and so she's left us. But we've moved one of our K-5 counselors to the high school to fill that hole at her request. I think they all understand that when we have meetings, we talk about, and I should highlight this too, it's no longer just K-12, right? It's TK-12. Right. So our elementary counselors are picking up those TK, and they're teaching lessons in TK classes. And our TK teachers are like, hey, we'll help you. We want to learn kamochis, right? So they're in there teaching, if you've ever seen those little fuzzy balls, and they got the little smiley faces. They look like emojis, but they're called kamochis. And they're on board, right? So these kids are learning this SEL information early, and all of them know, hey, if we need a counselor at K-5 from the high school, like they're able to do that. And I think that's the beauty of a comprehensive program, and that they understand how they all build on each other, and it's not just like, I just do high school, or no, I can just do this. Like, they really can, and several of them have worked in multiple grade levels. Mm-hmm. So I think that's an asset for us.
Yes. I have a comment. When I was working as a county employee, as a county teacher, I just want to send major kudos to the counselors that I've had the pleasure of working with, Lupe, Liz, that are over there. I worked at AK, CC, and teachers back in Swansea. But I just want to say, I really appreciate it. I know you mentioned that they support our students. It's not just YCUSD students that you guys support. It's also our programs and our smalls that are around us that have that are in our SEC classes. And I think, Madeline, you talked about the small group, the short term small groups that you guys do, being inclusive of the kids that are from Meridian or whatnot, and including them in your guys' lessons. I think that's amazing. So it's not just our kiddos that you guys reach, it's the kiddos that are in your surrounding communities too. So just very appreciative from a teacher standpoint, but thank you guys.
Very nice.
Very nice. Group picture.
Group picture.
Compliments if she doesn't. She needed to.
If you guys can do as well as the band
You know the story I wanted to give. My two kids are USD graduates. I know, and it's going to find who their favorite teachers are, right? And both in both are senior, and they are ready. They're related in English. They're green biology, math, science, everything.
No,
But they say it's about teacher college.
Ready, Bill, can you scooch in just a little bit?
I don't like Bill.
I mean, kinda, but there we go.
Thank you very much.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Social media, so people.
We need to
Bye, guys.
You guys are leaving. We have so much more to
We're missing it. There's juicy stuff on here. Not really.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for laughing at me.
Okay, moving on. Comments from the
I'll go
public.
quiet my counselor, sorry.
We're gonna have them come back and listen to the rest of the agenda meeting. Just kidding. Nicola had to leave. Can we note that? Thank you.
I think you did.
Thank you. Just wanted to call him out. Actually, just kidding. Do you have any comments from the public on items not on the agenda?
We do not have any.
Thank you. Any questions about consent agenda? If not. Do we? Yes? No? No? Okay, if not, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion just for the consent agenda.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
On a motion by member Lamb and a second by member Pretty, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, number 14. 14A, expulsion, suspended contracts and readmission case recommendations. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion to approve to discuss in closed session.
I'll second.
On a motion by member Quilty and a, I was gonna say Quitty. Combine those two. But on a motion by member Quilty and a second by member Pretty, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. B, first reading of proposed revisions to YCUSD board policies and so on.
Yes, so I bring forward for first read, the next set of, board policies for the month of October. There were a few corrections as we were going through them in terms of just, kind of clerical errors in terms of the listing of who was the compliance officer for personnel. That would be the director of human resources, not the assistant soup. So you'll see that correction coming forward in the second reading. Were there any questions about these in terms of policies? Yeah.
Yes. So I have several. Just wanted to make a note that there's a lot more than just that was changed than just what was listed here. Because for example, so I don't know if I got the wrong thing. I'm going off of what I asked Laura to print. So policy 410, right? Which is the first one listed. And then I think we clarified, just for everyone else to know, I had sent an email because you can see in the policy, the actual wording, that it says CSBA Sample District Policy Manual up here. So I was asking, are we just taking their stuff and using it And then, so I'd asked for a sample of what our policies were. And then, was told that it was, that we're using this one and that the staff had gone through and gotten rid of duplications or things that were not needed.
Correct, so what you have before you is the CSBA policy recommendations. Our former policies, we do a side-by-side comparison. Yes, there's new language added to the policies, and the reason why they're being added is because of the new laws. So there is, so I have it marked as well, those highlights are actual additions of words, could be actual paragraphs, but it is in compliance with the new laws that are stated in the index. And then in some cases, there's no changes because the language has not changed. So the prior board policies that were approved that are now being reviewed again were appropriate at the time, but because of the new laws, there does have to be new language added.
Right, so typically it's like, in the past, when we've had to review board policy, we get the index, this is great, and then we get the board language, right? And then within the policy language, there are the strike-throughs or the bolds or that sort of thing.
Oh, okay, so that is the difference then on this.
That's not the, and that's okay, because, and also it's not cited, but I'm getting ahead of my, okay, so also things were taken out, that I guess wasn't needed anymore. For example, what would be included, board policy 1312.3, uniform complaints that are subject to UCP. Well, all of those that are in the previous one are no longer in here, so they're not delineated. But that's not put on the index as to, well, we're getting rid of all that. So,
okay, so
there's so like looking at these two documents side by side, it's not just like minor or adding a new law. There were like massive chunks taken out. And the other thing I have a question about, maybe I'll just let you answer that question, sorry.
So I would need to look, because I went line by line and I didn't see some of the massive things that you're saying. I do see minor deletions, but it's and sometimes it's that the language might be referenced in another policy, and so I would need to know which policy you're referencing.
Well, okay, then it's probably my mistake.
No, but if in fact, and I can check with Lori, if the format looks different than we've given to you guys, so then I'm gonna acknowledge that. So the question I have, because I've gone through and I've put an asterisk by all the new language that has been added in the policies that are related to the new laws. And then the courses study will look different, because our courses study is permissible for you to make it aligns with what the district does. So you'll see strikeouts and that, but what I think I'm hearing you saying is the format this time looks different than it's been in the past.
Fine.
But it's
format is not, that's nothing.
No, but I mean in terms of strike-throughs and calling out
the strike-throughs, right,
okay, that's helpful to know.
It's more helpful, so I don't know if we were using like a new program or whatever. But the other thing was, and from previous conversations, I always appreciate it when there's annotations with regards to ed code, right? The reason this is in, it will be parenthetical and it's ed code, blah, blah, blah. That way you say, oh, okay, that's the onus behind this. And so I noticed that throughout. It was great. I didn't notice it, and this law applies to a lot of the same law, right? Mm-hmm. This AB 1078 applies to all of these different policies. However, this law there was no annotations there. And so when I was looking through, because for example, the thing that with regards to this law says this new law 1078, for example, if you're looking at your index, Board Policy 1312.3, Uniform Complaint Procedures, new law, it's the same law, and so a lot of this language is just cut and pasted throughout the policy index, but not in here. It says, it clarifies when It is unlawful discrimination for the governing board to refuse to approve the use or prohibit the use of the textbook, instructional material, supplemental instruction material, or other curriculum for classroom instruction, or any book or resource in the school library. So then I go, okay, I'm gonna go to 1312.3, and it's going to tell me when the governing board does not have the authority to refuse a book or prohibit the use thereof. And this, and I didn't see there at all. This is about complaint procedures and compliance officers, but does that make like my confusion? And that it happens throughout, where I'm like, okay, I want to see when, because we all have watched and we've all seen different boards, different things, books come out, parents complain, and I see our complaint procedure for the individual to meet with the principal informally. I read that, it was good, and then if that resolution did not come about, it progresses and everything. So that is completely, but when it comes to the board, I also couldn't help but notice, and this is, I'd say, is the apex of my concern about these, is in 1312.3, the option 2 strike through. Previous policy, when an individual had a complaint that was not resolved at the principal level, it wasn't resolved at the district level, and they wanted to appeal it, in the earlier policy, they came to the board. But now that's stricken through on 1312.3, and the board is completely taken out of the appeals process. And so that's kind of a concern.
Well, because the appeal would go to the Department of Education. So there was conversation in the previous complaint process where, with a different board, that it not be coming to the board, that it would go to the Department of Education for review. So that's why this is a first read. I mean, if there's the option 1 and option 2, if the board would prefer that we use option 2, that is why this is a first read. But I think that also, Kirsten, what I'm hearing you say is the application of 1078 and 2023, the new laws, ABs, it's not gonna necessarily be as overt in terms of what you're saying, in terms of what the board can and can't do. It's embedded in there, and I can highlight it for the board in terms of where that law is now being applied in each of these policies, because it's there, but it doesn't read in the way you stated it in terms of under what conditions. It's recognizing that there is limitations of what can happen during instructional material reviews if there's a complaint. So I can highlight that and send that back out to the board so you can see where those applicable laws are embedded in the policies.
Yeah, that'd be great, because all I see is just the laundry list of discrimination, things that we don't discriminate against, or which we know, instead of just saying we don't discriminate, there's the list. So I see that, but I don't, but this particular says, well, this is how, these are the things that we're not allowed to do. And then, and just the overarching, my concern is, not only are we being told by Sacramento what we can't do for our community, now we're being taken out of the appeals process so that it just goes straight to the DOE, as opposed to the community that has hired us to be their voice, going to a disembodied bureaucratic organization, as opposed to that. And I didn't see that in the index as a
so in the index, I referenced that it was the option 1 was selected. Option 2 remains in the policy for you to review, so as a discussion item for the board to decide. So option 1, option 2, option 1 was being recommended by staff, but you certainly as a board can talk about option 2. But I want to be clear that it's just not this is a law that we're required to implement. I mean, we don't, it's.
Yeah, but it's an AB, that's Sacramento, right? That's our legislative body.
Correct, but it's a new law that's been put into place, and so I just.
Can I speak to the other side of that? I think that, yes, it's true, we are elected by our community members to look out for the welfare and look into, to some extent, what is being taught in our schools. But I also recognize that every 2 years, the board can change drastically. And curriculum just can't be changed based on the whim of whoever happens to be elected. So having it removed from the board and going to an outside source that looks at curriculum, and that is their specialty, and that is what they do, is they look at curriculum, I think makes total sense. So
Well,
I
I will,
understand that.
I guess at board direction is I can certainly go through the policy, highlight where, the laws are applicable. Because I don't know that I hear what you're saying, but it's not going to be as overt in terms of the why of the recommendations of CSBA. And then you can look at option 1 and option 2, because it still remains in the policy for you to review. I think that was struck out, but, I can make it so it's clear for you.
And can I make a suggestion too, since I don't think any of these require action?
No, it's a first read.
No, it's, no, not tonight, but like, it's not pressing. Sometimes we've had board policies that are pressing where we have to get.
I think there's
right?
only one for you in terms of the changing of the, purchasing. There is an amount that's been changed on the,
Procurement.
Yes, procurement. That might be the only one, but, so we might want to, when we bring it back for second read, that might be the one that we ask that the board takes
Well, there's,
individually.
I mean, I recognize that member CSULA has, questions and that you're gonna be working with her, or working to answer some of those questions. And I'm sure we're not done with all of member CSULA's questions either, right?
Not yet.
So, but like for those first ones, maybe you guys can touch base, and then if it's not at the next board meeting, whatever gives you ample time to make sure that you instructions.
Absolutely for the member. Yeah, no, for the full board, absolutely, I can, in terms of what, so that it's clear for you all what policies are coming forward and that you're comfortable with the adoption of the policies.
But I think it would be helpful if you guys maybe sit down and like are able to see.
Right, yeah, if that's, I'm always happy to do that, absolutely. And I don't have, the other question I had was with regards to, courses of study. So this is 6143. I noticed the major section of, section 11, G through H12 was removed, and I'm guessing because it was put in under grades 1 through 6.
So that is actually a correction that needed to be made, that was going to be, there was one more, and that is, so for that mental health component in course of study, it should be removed for 1 through 6 and 7 through 12. So that is not a topic of course of study we have in the district, so it was an error and an oversight.
So it's supposed to be in there?
It's supposed to be removed in both sections.
Oh, in both sections?
Yes.
The mental health?
Yes.
Okay, and then also on grades 1 through 6, grades 1 through 6, number 6, letter D. So in first grade, we're teaching them about venereal disease?
No, we actually talked about that today. We are not teaching that in grades 1 through 6, so we're going to remove that.
Okay, so this isn't ready. Is this, or is it just?
It's the first read.
Well, I know, but these weren't the things that were listed on the edits, right?
And so
that's
that
what
is,
I mean.
right, and that is one of the things that we need to go back through on the course of study, and that's where Tino and his staff need to go back through it, because I did find those when I was going back through it. So they were removed in one section but not the other.
Okay,
and
we're
yes,
just hoping I wouldn't see that. I was, okay, got it. All right, I think those are the bulk of that's the bulk of my questions, so.
Anybody else questions? Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay, C, approval of architectural design and engineering services for Gray Avenue kitchen remodel.
Yes, it is actually. I just have to give a lot of credit to Chelsea Slatter, Director of Child Nutrition. She really pursues a lot of grants in addition to her day job, right? So, and she was able to obtain this grant. We usually don't get an opportunity to use district fund, the funds dedicated to child nutrition to do any infrastructure improvements, but this is a grant that actually allows us to do that, and she's worked with her staff and Mark Button to identify what's the greatest need. And so the first step, we've already had some meetings with the architecture and with staff about the ideas of what we want to do. And so we have ideas, and now it's to really engage the architect to draw the plans to make that Gray Avenue kitchen work better.
When we get those architectural designs, can I see those, please?
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Okay.
I worked at Gray, and so I kind of have an idea of what that kitchen looked like, and it'd be really cool to see like what they come up with.
Okay.
Pleasantly surprised.
No, I think it'd be awesome. I mean, I think that, I would love to see like a new gym at Gray Avenue with, all the other stuff, but.
Yeah, just need to dedicate resources.
Yeah. Okay, so any questions? No?
I move that we approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, on a motion by member Pretty and a second by member Cecile, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. D, approval of district-wide carpet replacement.
Okay, just kind of continuing on, Mark Benton has already given a presentation about all the, updates that we're, and maintenance really, that we're doing for the district. So this is just part of that plan. We're carpeting 23 classrooms in the most need, and also in conjunction, I think, with some of our, also a little bit in conjunction with our furniture moves. So we went out to bid, and you can see the bids are very close, but we have a low bid with KYA Services for $179,402, so we recommend approval of that bid.
Any questions? Can I get a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the bid.
I'll second.
On a motion by member Quilty, second by member Pretty, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. E, replacing YCUSD teaching staff Lenovo ThinkPads, 20% of inventory.
Yeah, so this is, and again, in addition, with our technology plan, it's our replacement cycle. So this is going out to replace 20% of our staff, our staff computers. So Robert, we actually, this is recommending going out for, and utilizing CDWG, which is a piggyback bid. It's already been out to bid at a very large scale. But Robert went out and got 2 additional bids. As you can see, they were much higher than the piggyback bid. So we're recommending, of course, the CDWG piggyback bid that piggybacks off of a Sourcewell contract. And so we're recommending approval of that.
I just have one question with regards to the bid, the recycling fee at $5 a piece. So are we giving them 250 because it's 250? We're buying 250 and then it has a recycling fee for 250. What is that?
So it's kind of like, I think it's kind of it's like when you buy your soda and you pay an extra amount for recycling.
We know where it will go.
Yes, exactly.
So we're paying for the grave that we're going to bury it in.
You got it.
Okay.
$4, I just did that on a mattress. I couldn't believe it. You have to pay a recycling. So done.
No more questions.
Okay, can you get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by member Cecile, second by member Lim, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. F, purchase of 1 diesel bus.
1 diesel bus. So actually, last meeting we had 2, and I usually would not piecemeal these together. But this was a scenario where they're very hard to come by at this point, and it often takes a long lead time to get a bus. There was an opportunity to get a brand new bus, also on a piggyback bid, and we wanted to take opportunity of that. So we had a fair amount of carryover dollars here. So we just asked and said, hey, do we have some room? Because to make this purchase, and the answer was yes. So we decided to move forward with this. We do have an aging bus fleet. We also understand that we're going to have to make a move to electric buses. That is probably the next step that we're actually looking at, and that's more to come on that. But still, to continue on our current operations, we really think this is the wisest thing to do with those carryover dollars.
Do we have any, have we explored grants?
Absolutely, that's exactly what. So I'm going down with a contingent of the transportation department in June to really explore the new grant opportunities, which is grant opportunities for infrastructure and for buses. And so we're going to do, just, and in addition to that, kind of the workshop that was really like almost an all-day workshop. We're going to be looking at, they have consultants and specialists that kind of help you figure out the whole transportation plan. So again, we're really in the early stages here. We're gathering information, doing the research to start developing a plan for the eventual transportation transition of all transportation departments over to at least a portion of their fleet in electric.
And then how many more diesel buses are we looking to purchase in the next couple of years?
Well, so every year, ideally we'd be purchasing, 2 or 3 buses, but I would say it's a little up in the air depending on kind of what comes from our research with e-fleet, the electronic fleet, bus fleet. Yeah.
We quite haven't figured out how to do long trips with an electric bus, so districts are trying to figure that out right now. So
And then Toyota's coming out with a vehicle that supposedly does 600 miles on a single charge and charges in a half an hour.
Faster charge.
Well, and to be honest with you, a lot of people are recognizing it's not one solution, right? That's going to do everything. So we actually have some compressed natural gas, diesel, and electric. It's a combination, really not just for buses and fleets like this, but also just society. It's not one source of energy that's going to do it.
Well, these look crazy much cheaper than gas.
$1 million.
It's insane.
Oh, you should see what the electric buses cost.
No.
This is nothing.
Any other questions?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. On a motion by member Ciociola and a second by member Core, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. G, AB 1200, disclosure of collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah, so this is actually just a continuation of the 2-year deal that we did with YCTA. In there, we had contingent language that if the local control funding formula increased, that we would be able to pass some of those increases off onto YCTA. The local control for this year, for 23-24, it's a 2-year deal, 22-23, 23-24. It did increase by just under 0.5%. So this is recognizing that and increasing the salary schedules to what we said we were going to do. So, oh, I'm sorry, but
we can meet that.
yes, the more important part of actually what this is it's a disclosure saying that we can meet our financial obligations to do this extra 0.5%. And we expect that to be just over $500,000 on additional expense to the district.
Any questions?
I move that we approve.
Second.
A motion by member Pretty, second by member Ciociola, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Board reports, information, and discussion. We had a government liaison meeting last week. We talked about a lot of things. Berry School should be starting, but they're the water to Berry School should be starting summer.
This summer, and the work should be done in front of the school before school starts. That's
Staging, and they're going to provide us with timelines.
That's contractor speak, so we'll see what actually happens.
Yeah.
But,
Spoken like someone who knows.
We talked about a lot of things. I'm sorry, I don't have my notes with me.
We're going to talk to about some of the housing that's coming into the community and the impact of the schools. And we share just in terms of where we are, and I know there's this perception that our schools are bursting at the seams, that they're actually have been right-sized, and so based upon the size of the school and the enrollment, we are in good shape. I think the perception though is we still do have, and I think every school has this issue with drop off and pick up. The flow pattern on the street has not been solved, just because a lot of our schools sit on 2-lane neighborhood streets. So the community has a perception that our schools are overcrowded because of that, but it's a very short amount of time. that the flow of the traffic in front of the schools are impacted, but our schools themselves are not overflowing. I think AK probably is one of the schools that's the largest for a K-8 in terms of enrollment, but we have room in our schools for kids to attend their neighborhood schools.
I think they also talked about some, like you mentioned, new developments, but some big ones that are possibly coming into the area on Bogue Road. And so there was like minute discussion about like some property that the districts have and what that would look like, whether or not that would potentially meet the needs. So I'm sure that that's something that superintendent and staff would be looking at in the near future.
What is the plan to do at the property where CG used to be?
So right now, the district continues to own it, and we are actually using, for storage. The conversation is about property, and that would be Scott's, area. But we do own property throughout Yuba City. That is one of the properties we continue to own. There's conversations as can it be reused as a school. There's some challenges with that property regarding the water, and there's just some things about the facility, and so the discussion will have to be for the board. What do you want to do with that property in the future with recommendations coming from staff?
I think it also ties in with our master facilities plan, right? So what are we doing to our facilities? We don't necessarily at this point, unless we see a lot of growth, in which we may if we get major developments coming in. We don't right now see a need for additional schools, but again, I keep saying this, 40% of our classrooms are in temporary housing. We have a need to do serious investment into our schools, but at this point, we don't see the need to, build another school. But again, all the assets that we have, like these properties, kind of feed into that. So we need to think strategically on how do we need these properties? If not, can we sell them? How do we gather some funds to do some things with this district? So
Some of the properties are in places where I could easily see where they'd be beneficial for our use, more so than others. I mean, CG's so far out there, and there are so few people that live out there, that having that return as a district school is not necessarily something I think would be happening unless there was a huge population explosion in this area. But other properties that we own are definitely more beneficial to us as a district. So I was just wondering.
And that is the conversation. I think and Scott is right. It is part of our overall master facility plan in terms of our assets and what needs to be done in our current schools. And then again, in the future, will there need to be a new school somewhere because of the housing developments?
Is it possible, I know the city has their like master plan or like where their new development potentially could be or whatnot. Is it possible if we can get like that map and then overlay where our properties are for the board just as like information? Whether it's on theirs, even if you can't get the overlap there, but
they sent well, it's a county. It was the county, master plan, and they sent that to us. And it's funny. They said, "Well, hey, this is where I'm all, wow, you have planned schools. Are you building those schools?"
They have schools on their maps,
So.
where they think they would show.
Anyways, I just thought it was kind of
But
funny.
I do think that would be helpful. It sounds like
that
the board would like to know where
I don't
their
know, sorry.
properties
I
are,
just
because we do
asked
have
that.
properties. Yeah, we can do that.
Do you guys want that?
I would like it.
Yes. Thank you.
I would just take it with a grain of salt. These are just kind of ideas, and to be honest with you, what the county puts together, it's not with a lot of input from us necessarily.
Or even, maybe if you can provide that, but also provide us something that shows where our properties are,
Right.
whether it's not,
Yeah.
that would be fantastic if you can just overlay it, but if you
Yeah,
can't,
we-
that's fine.
Get my
You can put a
marker
little-
out.
Sure, Jerry.
Sounds like a good time.
It would be helpful for you all to know
Yeah.
where our
Especially,
assets are.
Carmen's asking about this map, whatever, it'd be nice to know which one he's talking about. Okay, any other board thingies? No?
A lot of graduations coming up pretty soon.
Yep. A lot of fun. There's so many graduations.
The only, since we're in the discussion part, is what we would need to do just as far as if it's too soon to adjust for this year, but with regards to photographs, I think, our student representative mentioned it, and we've informally discussed it amongst ourselves about the more meaningfulness of having the students' photograph be taken with their principal and or being a part of that line of, you know, shaking their hands, that sort of thing, as far as where we would need to be to more formally discuss that or put it on the table, or what the law states. I'm sure there is one.
Law.
Okay.
It's tradition, and so I think it was just a tradition that has been in place for, I don't know, I've been here 17 years and it's always been the case, but I think it's really up to you all if you would like to say to the sites that the principals, you know, we will hand out the diplomas, but you take the picture. I mean, I don't think that they would mind or object at all if that is your desire.
I think it's great.
I love handing this stuff out. I love shaking their hands. I don't care about the photograph.
I want to take the photograph with my nephews.
Okay.
Unless it's like family, that makes sense.
Sorry. That's my 2 cents.
Well, and they've always been able to arrange that if in the line of
Right.
photos, so.
I'm not really teasing, but, you know.
Hey,
low-key, I don't even want to give my nephew his diploma. I don't think he deserves it. But that's a whole
let
nother.
the record show.
I'm just kidding.
I think if the principals want to do it and would do it, I think.
Okay, so what I will do is I'll talk with the high school principals and talk with them about that, as well as the middle school, because it's also middle school.
Yes, it is.
In terms of pictures, and so I will communicate that tomorrow.
I feel like that would be difficult for Valley graduation though, because there's 2 lines. Oh, Lee can handle it.
He'll think that through. But you're right, they've got their.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we're all of one accord that we're happy to serve. If
Right.
it works, I mean,
Right.
Harjot brings up an excellent point, and if it makes it more difficult for our sites to do that, then obviously we will.
Okay.
But I've been asked by several parents though,
I
and
think
some
for most
students,
schools it's
honestly,
fine.
to have their principal take the picture with them and not you board members.
I love adjusting their thingies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, make sure they're all straight.
Yeah.
It's a joy to interact with them. I mean, I love that part, and so I'm not trying to, avoid shaking their hand.
Okay, so for next board meeting, or not next board meeting, whenever we can get that ready, the board policy piece we're gonna bring back.
I will send it out.
And then superintendent's gonna talk about graduation pictures.
Yeah. I just want to say before we close that, I didn't mean to sound snarky, and I think I did. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say like, oh, this isn't ready. I know that it's so ready, and that there were so many things you had to add to it. But I felt really convicted about that, and I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for all the work that you do, and that's my job too. So I want to make sure that
all of our jobs. Okay, number 16, written communications from the public.
Doing done.
Thank you, Laura.
Nobody writes us letters.
Comments from employee representatives.
Good evening, board members, staff, and anybody in the audience. I'm Gail Lukens, president of the Yuba City Teachers Association. I'll try and keep it brief this evening. We've been here a little while. We continue in negotiations for what is called our successor agreement, since our contract expires in June of 2024. We continue that negotiations on May 29th. YCTA will bring forth counter proposals on some of the articles that were previously presented, and we hope to be able to begin to reach some agreements. The work year agreement that you acted upon tonight was reached in our agreement in April. That work year agreement reflects a new idea of boot camp for our teachers without preliminary credentials, or unit members without preliminary credentials. This is an exciting opportunity. It comes to us in part from the work of Michelle Stoffel. Yeah, Michelle. I wanted to just go where I was saying that, and I realized, Michelle and the induction staff. They've really done an amazing job in supporting our new teachers. They support our new teachers who are clearing their credential, but also our new teachers who don't have a preliminary credential. And they identified the need, along with several others of us, that folks who come in without any prior coursework or experience in teaching might be more likely to struggle when they get in the classroom with kids. So they might need more support. So the idea now is let's get them some of that support before they even walk in the classroom on day one. Because day one, when you start with kids, is critical to the success of the next 179. So the new teachers will now work 2 extra days. Previously, they worked 1. Our first day will still include the introductions, here's what it's like to work in YCUSD, here's kind of the nuts and bolts of the operation. But then that second day, they'll get what's being called a boot camp, where they'll work on instructional excellence. So we're looking forward to that new addition to our supports for new teachers. In addition to that, we've been working on displacement. It's contractual language that results when it becomes necessary to move teachers or other unit members to new positions based on enrollment and reductions in staffing. Sometimes school sites have more teachers than next year will be needed. So for example, Lindcrest Elementary School had a necessity to, they reduced by 2 and there was no attrition at Lindcrest, well, until this evening. But in the end, Lindcrest displaced 1 teacher and 1 teacher resigned. We also went to Riverbend. Riverbend's enrollment is significantly diminished, and it was necessary for Riverbend to displace 1 teacher. We took care of that following contractual language. Albert Powell was reduced by 1 teacher, and in this case it was social science. That reduction appears to be resolved based on, unfortunately, a resignation. So I'd like to highlight Allie Graven for you tonight. Allie Graven is a Yuba City High School grad. Allie Kirby was when she was a Yuba City High School student. Allie Graven has been working at Yuba City High School in the social science department and then moved over to Albert Powell with a special interest in working with students in alternative ed setting. So when faced with the prospect of not working in alternative ed and the recruitment of Lyndhurst for their alternative high school, Allie interviewed and was given the job. So we anticipate that Allie Graven will no longer work for Yuba City Unified. So that's sad news for all of us. But hopefully she'll return someday. So that happened at Albert Powell, and we're still working on a displacement at Bear Valley High School. It's also that time of the year for resignations. You'll continue to see them on board agendas. You received or you acted upon 4 of those this evening. So it's the scramble time to hire new employees and always attempt to find the very best for our students here at Yuba City Unified. It's especially challenging to find those ed specialists, psychologists, speech and language pathologists for our students. So we hope that the district will be able to recruit new folks to replace those, because tonight you acted upon SLP and a psychologist. And then finally, the governor's May revise is out. So I know that that your financial services department's been working on budget development, and as the budget continues to change and continues to have some vagueness in it, we have seen a summary, and I will point out that at least in all of this, the projected COLA for next year increased from 0.76%, okay, it's small, to 1.07% increase, but an increase is an increase, way better than any decreases. So we are happy to report that there's at least an increase, and that we are functioning in a state that truly has a commitment to protecting public education. So those are all good things for us, so thank you.
Good evening, board members, staff, and our 3 audience members. I'm Mercedes Geraldo, and I represent the classified unit here at Yuba City Unified. First of all, happy Mother's Day to our mothers out here in the room. I hope you had an enjoyable day. The weather was lovely. Next week is Classified School Employees Week, and this is a week that's set aside in Ed Code to honor classified employees. Many of our sites combine the teacher appreciation into a staff appreciation, and most of that's going on this week with different activities, and that's amazing, right? That we're honoring all of our employees, our teaching staff and our classified staff. We have a lot of departments that just house classified staff, and I'm hoping that they will recognize next week is Classified Employees Week, and that they will be recognizing their employees in some kind of special way. There's lots of different people out there that'll, community members will be glad to help out with lunch or something, I'm sure. Let's make sure I got my notes straight. This past Saturday, CSEA Area A and Area A, we're divided up into 10 areas throughout the state. So our Area A, no doubt, is the largest geographically. We have the most school districts and probably the least amount of people, right? Because that's what the North State is. We go from Galt all the way up to the Oregon border, to the Nevada border, and about that I-5 corridor. So of that, and 130 chapters involved, we give out some awards. And I'd like to recognize Peggy Costa. Go ahead, stand up for a minute, because we can't see you because there's all these people. Peggy was awarded the Award of Excellence for all of her hard work that she's been doing in this chapter, in our chapter, and supporting our members. And she is our Chief Union Steward, took on the role this past year. This is in year 2 of a 2-year term, knocking it out of the park, doing a great job. And we really appreciate you. Please give her a little round of applause. We also recognize our chapter had the largest amount of newly jacketed stewards. So in order to be a union steward with CSCA to represent our members, we do, there's 3 classes that you have to take. It's usually over 3 months. There's homework you have to do. We want to make sure that our stewards are prepared when they go out. And then we have them shadow seasoned stewards and that sort of thing just before, until they become comfortable and want to help out on their, or meet with people on their own and represent members on their own. So having 6 new stewards is great because one of my stewards just retired. So we were dwindling and now we're building back up. So that's awesome for the chapter and for our members to have people there to support them. Let's see. I want to congratulate those musicians that were here. They were wonderful. Is it Michael? Micah. I did have the privilege of watching him at the Young Artist Showcase. He was absolutely amazing. I think he said he started playing 2 years ago. No prior experience. Started playing 2 years ago and plays 2 or 3 different instruments now. So that young man is going to go far. I wish him the best of luck with his, I guess it's an audition with Juilliard, but how amazing is that? Little point of privilege, my son started out in the strings orchestra in 3rd grade. He was the last class to be a 3rd graders to take strings classes. He's been playing for over 20 years, and he has a concert tomorrow. He plays with the Ollie Orchestra up with Sierra College up in Nevada City, so, or Grass Valley, wherever it is, I'm not sure. So just that little point, musicians, our music program is so important to our students and give them that roundness of the arts and being part of, a team. A lot of this is no different than athletics, the amount of practice that they have to do in that, so I really, really commend them. Luis Parra, great custodian, great access to that Bridge Street team, has been there for several years now. And always, every time I encounter him, always has a great smile and a really positive attitude. So next board meeting is our intention to sunshine the district. So we're kind of excited. It took us a while. We had to make sure that contract was all together, and with the help of our HR team and the negotiating team, we sat down and we went through the contract. We made sure that edits were done properly. The formatting, I got kind of nitpicky on formatting, but you understand, right? We did it straight. So I'm really happy that that's now, there's a completed CSA contract online for your viewing pleasure if you'd like to ever see what our contract is. And then tomorrow, I believe is when our final layoff notices go out to all of us that either were, reduced hours. I'm one of those, so, I can speak for myself. I think, I don't have the complete recap, and I'm sure that I'm sure I'll be getting that from HR, as to who landed where and in what capacity. But I think that overall, very few actual individuals are leaving us as a result of the layoffs. Most of them were able to have bumping rights and move to other places, or best case scenario, the recension of many of our layoffs, such as our parent liaisons and our health aides bringing back up into to be at the schools full time, basically. So we really do appreciate the work the district's done to help find that funding to make sure that these employees are in place, but more importantly, they're in place for our students, because that's what they're there for, and our families, and we need them there. So I do appreciate that. And one final thing, and I brought this up before, I'd really like that we can take a proactive approach to the traffic and the dangers of the traffic on Gray Avenue for our students at Gray Avenue Middle School, and our campus supervisors that are acting as crossing guards, that are really risking their lives every single day, because we have cars that don't stop, they don't slow down. We have sometimes students now doing behaviors that's not so acceptable, like riding their bikes out in the middle of the streets and that sort of thing. Bikes are a thing again. So I would really appreciate it if we can take that approach and try to hone in on that safety piece, because I don't want to stand up here at the worst case scenario. We need to fix it. Thank you.
Thank you. Comments from board members? No? Comments from superintendent?
Yes, I just have a few. The board revised calendar is in front of you with the changes that were made at the last meeting. So if you could take a look at that and see if it reflects your input. The other thing is, and so based upon the calendar, following it is, there should be a May revised update at the next board meeting, depending on the visual. The government budget is this week.
It's this week, actually. It came out this week, and more detail came out today. I haven't reviewed it yet, but yeah.
So he'll be able to, what's his face?
This guy.
Sorry,
That
Scott. We'll be able to give an maybe revised update at the next board meeting. Additionally, there is a fifth grade track meet that we hold for our fifth graders, and that will be on March 23rd at Gray Avenue in the morning. So if you're available, get out there, because it's our future track stars. Musical performances. May 23rd, thank you. May 23rd. Musical performances were sent out. They've started, and so tonight was the YCHS orchestra, but they're scattered throughout the next few weeks. So if you have an opportunity, attend one of those. We had our early college program where the sashes were presented to our students who will be earning both their AA and their high school diploma. And Tina brought this up and it made me laugh. They will be actually graduating with their AA before they actually walk across the stage for their high school diploma. So that's a pretty cool idea and thought. The other thing is, I do want to call out and thank the board. Over time, we have gone through tough budget times, but the board has stood firmly in belief in our music program. So that was a program that many districts cut. We did not cut, and you can see the fruits of the fact that our music program has stayed intact. Our counseling program is probably one of the most robust in the northern state, with 32 counselors as well as our social workers. So that was something also the board has supported in terms of a comprehensive counseling plan. So that is kudos to the board and your commitment to making sure that there are programs and services for students. And so a lot of districts don't have that, and they're trying to recuperate. And I am really thrilled to see our kids come out and watch them and their just their accolades in terms of what they've been doing. So and our music teachers, there were 3 of them. I don't know how many we have in total now. Music teachers. We have a lot. But those, you can see the energy and the dedication they have to our students. So I just have to thank the board for that, because you have allocated the funds and resources and made it a priority for our district.
For a sixth grader to have played a solo for us with that
Right.
crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would've been
Amazing.
shaking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, she was sixth grade, I thought she was in eighth grade.
No, sixth grade.
I would have frozen.
I know.
Awesome. Thank you. Our next board meeting is gonna be May 28th. The open session's gonna be at 7 p.m. Sorry, I was premature. Sorry. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So motion.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by member Seal and a second by member Pretty. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.